because I got the thing right. I don't know. It may have been brought to my attention that my reviews aren't particularly heavy on the waffle and not so much on the review. So let's dive right into it. I picked this up today at Tesco. It's called the Woodsman. I don't know if it's got anything to do with, was it Snow White? Yeah. All I noticed that it was Glaswegian from Glasgow. I haven't read up anything on it. I just noticed it said it was like finished in bourbon barrels or something, so I thought I'd give it a shot. Never tried it before. And so we'll crack into it, open it up, have a taste, and then have a little bit of a read. I've pulled up some stuff, I haven't had a chance to read it yet, and then we'll see what we can compare it to. Nice bottle though, isn't it? If you like that sort of thing. It seems to have looks like an apple shape carved in the back. I don't know. True character is built by hand, apparently. Doesn't smell like much of anything, really. Very, very easy. Yeah, you got that kind of caramel, but it's not peaty at all. It doesn't have a burn. It's hard to say there's really a taste. Because I was drinking yesterday. I had some Famous Grouse Black, I think it's called. It's not fancy, but it's a very peaty version of Famous Grouse, and that is very nice. You know, splash of water with that. And I'm not going to fuck around with any of the cocktails or ice or anything. We're just going to be drinking the Woodsman and, you know, seeing how that goes with the water, and reading a bit and seeing if we can learn something about ourselves. It's a blended whiskey. So let's see. True character. Shut up. Pour. Right. So what it says on the tin: the Woodsman blended Scotch whiskey. Great barrels made for great tasting whiskey. We are a mix of freshly built oak casks. Sorry, reading comprehension. We use a mix of freshly built oak casks and double scorched bourbon barrels, making the Woodsman especially smooth, sweet with a hint of smoke. It says 2017 on the side, established 2017. That must be when they started. Well, established. I think we all know what that means. And it's a very simple label on the front. Just says true characters built by hand, made true, the Woodsman blended Scotch whiskey. Yeah, and it's kind of an apple motif, it appears to be. No, I'm an idiot. It's not an apple, is it? It's like when you cut through a tree and yeah. On the side, what does it say? Oh, come on, brain. Not brain, eyes. Same thing, they're connected. Woodsman Whisky Co., Glasgow, Scotland. Such good Glaswegian whiskey. Yeah, there's no information there. To the back cave. Right. So we got the whiskey. Especially smooth, sweet with a hint of smoke. Yeah, that's what it says on the label. So it is especially smooth. I mean, this is just straight. Yeah. Yeah, you could drink that straight quite comfortably. I think if you put any ice in it, the taken, you know, that loss of temperature, you would lose any taste, and then it would just be a bit overpoweringly of liquor. But it isn't that kind of whiskey that is overpowering of liquor. It's definitely one of the nicest blended Scotch whiskies. I mean, well, not one of the nicest, I'd have to think. This isn't Monkey Shoulder is blended as well, I think. So because you think of blended, you think, oh, Teachers or Bells, but no, this is Sweet with a hint of smoke. I mean, sweet, you know, if you've watched these reviews before, you know, sweet, I'll think of like Jack Daniels or rum or something like that. But yeah, there is that sweet. I think originally, that my first taste, I said it was a bit caramel. And yeah, there is that smoke. Yeah, I guess. The taste, smooth, sweet hint of smoke. You're repeating yourself now. Come on. A real whiskey that tastes great, straight up or mixed long. I'm not mixing. I can't be asked. You start dicking about with ginger ale, ginger beer. They did have, going back to the bourbon they had, I think it's called Woodford Reserve. They had a bottle of that, and it was in a little box, and it had some kind of maple syrup liqueur or something. I guess for the Canadians or something. Considered it, but I don't know. Yeah, it mentions ginger beer. Oh, and there we go. It talks about maple. Maybe that's the new thing with kids. With the kids, not kids. You know what I mean. Try making a maple old-fashioned, our tasty taste on the classic cocktail. The Woodsman maple syrup, a dash of Angostura bitters, a splash of water, a big chunk of ice, and a twist of orange peel. Ain't no one got the fucking time for that. Right, let's try thinking. There's a bit of water in there before I go blind. I've had to put my glasses on. I'm having one of my blind days, especially if we're going to be doing a lot of reading. I'll probably do, if I'm going to be doing these. I mean, we're headed for lockdown again. There's just been a load of protests. Anyway, whiskey, yeah, smoky black. Famous Grouse. It was good. I will do a review of that as I am being. I mean, I've got the writing and the music, but that's not enough. It's never enough. Purpose. You always need more purpose. Anyway, this is with the water. I didn't tell you about the smell, did I? Well, I've put water in there now, so I won't be able to tell you about the smell. I'll open it up in the glass. It's as smooth as a Lithuanian girl's behind. On the whiskyexchange.com it's £31.25, but I didn't pay that. Oh, I didn't pay that. You got to push past the thing. Let's see what they say about it. An easy drinking blended Scotch. This isn't plagiarism. The whiskyexchange.com. I'm just reading what they say. An easy drinking blended Scotch that's sweet and rounded with notes of vanilla. Everyone says that. Wood, smoke, and gentle spice. Yeah. The whiskey is matured using a combination of freshly built oak casks from Ohio. Okay. And ex-bourbon barrels. Ooh. That have been double scorched to enhance the vanilla and smoke flavours. Well, that is interesting. The Woodsman comes in a tree-inspired bottle. Yeah, tree, not an apple, you idiot. It's designed to evoke the spirit of the great outdoors. It's a whiskey that can be sipped or mixed into long drinks. And it pairs... Okay, bit random here. And it pairs very well with buttered scones. You can tell the cultural heredity or class of an English person or British person by how they pronounce scone. Scone or scone. It's people who say it like scone, they'll be the first against the wall when the revolution comes. Flavour profile: vanilla, cinnamon, smoke, and honey. Well, okay, let's go for it. Vanilla. I mean, I wouldn't pick it out. I would usually use vanilla in baking, particularly like a chocolate cake, but I usually get a bit crazy with chocolate cake because be adding orange and coffee as well. So, but and cinnamon, Yeah, I have the cinnamon in the tea, and it's good in the chili and smoke. I'm not getting like I'm not getting a smoky aftertaste or anything. Honey. That's the thing. Maybe that's the good reason. Aren't symptoms of COVID that you lose your fucking sense of taste? Maybe I'm just like drinking this and actually dying. Am I hot? I'm a bit hot, but it is like 24 degrees in here in this box. It's September, and it's still fucking hot because it's whatever. It's 2020. It's fucking aliens next. A couple of my friends have got COVID in the house. They got tested and that, waiting for the test results. That's shit, isn't it? Thinking that, you know. Let's not talk about that. Thoughts and prayers. Wear your fucking mask. The Woodsman Whiskey, come on. Master Remote. WoodsmanWhiskey.com. There you go. There you fucking go. We just need to check that you're old enough to enjoy the Woodsman Whiskey in your country. Country, United Kingdom. Yes, birth year 2020. Fucking imagine being born in 2020 is like having your fucking birthday of September 11th, isn't it? Like a cursed baby, just throw into the fire and have another one. Sorry. God. Choose your language, English. Please enjoy the Woodsman Whiskey responsibly. Is this responsible, what I'm doing here? I'm going to pour a glass of whiskey to the nurse who held my hand when that fucking vicious doctor shoved that thing down my throat. I don't know if anyone's ever had an endoscopy, but you know that thing in the Matrix, that robot with all the fucking squid things that come out? Imagine that being shoved down your throat, and then they start to do the what's it called when they take samples inside you? Brain's gone. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's gone. I'm actually not a real doctor, but they basically, like little clips, like crocodile clips, like, you know, when you used to do with things with the electricity, and they just pinch and rip the thing off, and it's to kind of find out what's wrong with you, because they thought, oh, what's wrong with him? Why does his throat sometimes close up? And it's just the white blood cells. They're just fucking white blood cells. What can you say? Sometimes they want to kill you. It basically creates like a U-bend, a curve in your esophagus because of the thing. It's the most bizarre thing. And as I might have mentioned before, I'm not a real doctor. Nor am I a connoisseur of whiskey. Are you of legal drinking age? Yes, I am. Enter. Right. The Woodsman. Here we are at the website. The whiskey, especially smooth, sweet with a hint of smoke, perfect straight up over ice or mixed long. Mixed long. I've never heard it referenced like that. I mean, I know what a long glass is, but mixed long. Okay. Guess that's just the new parlance, the new vernacular, isn't it? Okay, I'm not at the point of the YouTube career where I'm going to be putting up pictures of things. The taste, smooth, sweet, hint of smoke. Tell me the fucking history. Stop with your fucking marketing. This is a website built for the fucking Instagram crowd. Right, discover our whiskey. We've already been there. Perfectly balanced whiskey. Why does everything have to just be a fucking a sentence? It's advertising whiskey like the government advertises COVID restrictions. We had, remember Piers Corbyn, the lesser of the Corbyn brothers. he was in Portsmouth today. Portsmouth is like my town, hometown. And they were down the Guildhall, that's like City Hall. And apparently they were doing basically a demonstration about lockdown, about not wanting to do another lockdown. We've just had a lockdown. I don't want to do another one. I don't want to wear a mask. Like I don't want to do exercise, and I don't want to eat broccoli. Well, you gotta fucking choose one then, Jeremy. Piers. I mean, Piers himself looks like a fucking chew toy of his brother. I seem to remember they were doing like a hug everyone. You know, don't wear a mask, go and hug everyone. Hugging for the people of Portsmouth, in my experience, is it's like jumping for people confined to wheelchairs. I mean, we've not been the most. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, it's grim up north. They're not very friendly." I've been up north. I've lived up there. You know, the only trouble I've ever had up north is with the fucking with Southerners, and in Scotland, the only trouble I've had was with fucking English. Something about the Southern. The more southerly you get, the more of a cunt you are. And yes, I was born on the south coast. But this is supposed to be a whiskey. Oh, I totally forgot I didn't put any water in that. Oh, God. Oh, that's right. I'm still trying to get to the bottom of the Woodsman, where it's from. Because it says on the bottle that it's Glasgow. G4, G2, Glasgow. I used to live there. I've probably mentioned that many times. Lovely place, lovely people. Everyone says, "Oh, it's really rough." I mean, yeah, you know, people will shout at you sometimes, but I grew up in Portsmouth. As long as they don't follow up that shout with a fucking right hook, then I'm good. And they didn't. So we're good. I'm on. This is the actual website, but it's not telling me the history. It's like when I go on the bourbon thing, they're all very proud of their history, and like, we're from. I'm not doing the voices. This is all very confusing. I'm just going to look on our old friend Wikipedia. What is a geeky board? Woodsman. Is it Woodsman whiskey? Yeah. My keyboard's skew-if. Come on, give me the information. Boom, 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 boom. That's a terrifying thing, isn't it? Maybe it's so obscure that somebody will also be searching for it and find this fucking review and be like, "Who's this cunt?" Oh, there we go. Look, there's a new one. There's new information. The Woodsman, 31.13 again, 30 quid again. I didn't pay 30 quid. The Woodsman is a blended Scotch whisky. This is from masterofmalt.com. The Woodsman is a blended Scotch whisky from White Mackay. Okay. Owners of Dalmore, Fentercairn, Jura, and Tamnavulin. I've never heard of Tamnavulin or Fentercairn. Jura, though, I didn't know White Mackay owned Jura. Because White Mackay, of course, very famous Glaswegian whiskey. White Mackay is the whiskey that I reviewed in my first one. I kind of got into that when I was living in Glasgow. It's very nice and very cheap blended whiskey, but it's unlike a lot of the blended whiskies that I was used to when I was a kid. It's actually very nice, neat. Or, you know, with a splash of water or something. I remember when I was a kid, Jesus, I'm getting to the point where I'm wondering if I've told stories before, but anyway, me and a friend, we knocked off school. I'd stolen a couple of my stepfather's cigars. He used to have a bureau It was actually part of a story in my first book, but these fancy cigars he got from some fucking place. They look fancy. They were probably cheap as fuck, but anyway. I picked the lock of his bureau, and that's where I found out where he hid his gay porn. I mean, he, yeah, it's. I remember the scene. He found his daughter. He had an elder daughter by a previous woman, until he married my mum. And somehow I remember him finding this gay porno, like back in the old days, it was like a magazine, like a comic, and he was like, "Oh, this is disgusting! You can't have this! How dare you!" And he like basically took it away from her. I think she was like in her 20s though. I mean, so that was kind of weird. Well, maybe not. Maybe she was. I can't remember. There's a lot of like dark black patches over that memory. It's like, it's like the CIA got the black pen and just went. But anyway, when I was going through to get the cigars, there it was in all its glory. Nice big cocks. Kind of, it wasn't like hardcore the way you'd see, these days, but there was definitely a bit of touching, or at least suggested touching of cocks and other things. And if you're into that, that's great. But my stepfather was kind of one of those homophobes where it's like, oh, you're one of them, so okay. Anyway, me and my friend, there we were. We got the. See, I'm on board. Where's the camera? There's the camera. So I stole a couple of these cigars. Was it a couple or was it one? No, I think it was. No, it was two, because my stepfather told me that to share one would have been homosexual. But and we went and we got like a bottle of. I think in America you call it a fifth, but over here it's like 35 centiliters. A little bottle of Bell's. I used to make fake ID back then, allegedly. And yeah, we sat. There used to be an old like fruit and veg thing around the back of Sainsbury's, around where the tricorn used to be. Now, yeah, long story. And we sat there and we smoked our cigars and we drank this Bell's or Teachers or whatever it was, and it was a blended whiskey. But that's the kind of blended whiskey that you used to get back then. I used to get back then. That was very popular back then. It's what Jim, my nan's second husband, maybe third, I don't know. Nobody in my family is honest about how many times they were married before. You only ever find out about it when you get the death certificate, and you think, oh fucking hell, that was your maiden name, okay. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with this, but I really don't know. I need to put some water in this. Okay, before it goes away. Right, tasting note by the chaps at Master of Malt. Nose, sandalwood. What the fuck does a sandalwood taste like? Smell like, even, sorry. Sandalwood is, I don't know. I mean, honey. Yeah, I can see honey. Almond slices, well, I'm allergic to almond. So I wouldn't fucking know what it smells like. And if I did, I'd be like, and sawdust. Sawdust as well. I had a job once, the entire office block. We had to go and we had to remove the like the fake floor. And we had to go around with basically crowbars and tools and just rip it all up. And the dust was coming up, and because of my asthma and that, it just closed me up. And I was like, sorry, I have to leave. I managed like 4 hours. The dust just got in me, and it's like, so I can't do sawdust. It's like asthma. So basically, I'm really bad marriage potential. Can't eat anything because I might choke. Can't work because I might choke on the sawdust. What else we got? Well, let's continue and find out. Creamy vanilla. I can do that. Ginger root. Slight grain sweetness. What does that mean? Slight grain sweetness. I mean the grain of the stuff, the things that they put in the thing. Yeah. It's all very pretentious, isn't it? I mean, you can understand it with wine, you know. It's a positively arrogant bouquet, but I mean, when it comes to I can understand it. Maybe I feel like the urchin outside the window, looking in, peering in, wondering what's going on. I mean, on the palate, yeah, we got vanilla, but that's the thing. All whiskies are just saying the same. They're saying vanilla, and they're saying ginger, and a bit of sweet. They'll say sawdust, smoky. They'll say honey. They'll say wood, sandalwood. What's the difference between sandalwood and oak? I don't know. Do I need to fucking chew on the fucking branch and find out? I mean, I understand. I understand that people do have very developed olfactory senses, and also, tasty senses. But a touch of smoke. I mean, that's the thing. When you a bottle, you can tell the difference between different types of. I think I've tried 3 of the different Taliskers. Talisker Sky was quite a recent one that came out. It hasn't always been there. There was also ordinary Talisker, and there was another Talisker, something. But they're very peaty. It's very, and not everybody likes that. But I think that's why I like that Famous Grouse one, because of the peatiness to it. And Jura itself, like the lightest ones, they're not peaty at all. They're very easy drinking in that. And there's a bottle of like Johnny Walker Black. I remember that used to be like Christopher Hitchens' favourite drink, and a friend of mine bought me that once. And I started drinking. I was like, oh fucking hell, what's this? The first time I drank it, I didn't actually like it. I was like, does this mean I believe in God? Because I don't like Christopher Hitchens' favourite whiskey. Because well, to me then it was incredibly peaty, but I don't think at the time I kind of got into the Talisker side of things. I mean, the worst thing you can really get though of whiskey is the one that is overpoweringly like of a petrol kind of a taste. So, and I do remember drinking in Copenhagen with a professor of mine. That sounds way more impressive than it actually is. Disregard that I said it. We bought a bottle of Chivas Regal, and we're drinking that, but it was like, you smell it, and he wasn't even a professor, he was just a teacher. He taught coding, and not very well, because I don't know coding. Chivas Regal, all the pungent, like I said before, like you just sucked gasoline out of a petrol tank. I don't think. Where was I going with this? Oh my god. You can get Downton Abbey whiskey. Why would you do that? Peaky Blinders whiskey. What? What the fuck? Customers who bought this also. Oh no, Woodsman, you've been forever tarnished. People who bought Woodsman bought things that were based on things. Ian McShane was one of the dwarves. And didn't they do another one? And Charlize Theron was like the Queen or something. Or am I thinking of something else? But there is a Woodsman film. But there's also a Woodsman film that's about the pedophiles. And that's got, what's his name in it? Kevin Bacon. It's a really good film about the very bad things that people do to children. It's up there with the one that Mads Mikkelsen was in. The Danish film called, I can't remember. If you want to go for the hat trick of movies about people who do horrible things to children, Prisoners. A fun fact: Prisoners was written by the same guy who is also the showrunner and the writer of the new show Raised by Wolves, which was started off. Everyone's saying it's Ridley Scott, but it ain't Ridley Scott. He just directed the first episode or two. So there's a connection there. Prisoners, of course, being directed by Denis Villeneuve, who is just doing the new Dune. Are you not excited about the new Dune film? I wasn't too impressed by Blade Runner 2049. It was fine. It was okay, but Arrival was. If you didn't cry at the end for Arrival, I just don't want to know you. Anyway, the Woodsman's bottling note. That was good. Ding. What was that? Was that a G? Was that a B? Oh, it wasn't a B. It wasn't a B. It sounded anything like a B. You like. If anyone's wanting more visual porn, we're about here now. The Woodsman. Tasting note, but the chaps are at the sandalwood. We've done this, haven't we? I love animals, and I always, whenever I see an animal, I'll run up to it. I don't care if it's a cat or a dog or a bear or a fucking stag. I'll go and hug it, and I'll hug it till it loves me. But I can breathe. Drink every time I say I'm not a natural doctor. A lot of what you smell is through your ears. Did you know that? But what they don't realise is it's not just for hay fever. Don't tell them. Fucking don't tell them. Tesco will put the fucking price up. It's for every child that loves dogs and cats and loves to play with them, but after a little bit of playing them, stops breathing. I think the attitude was if you kowtow to a child having an allergic reaction to the fur of an animal in the 80s, then he would probably turn into a homosexual, and you wouldn't want that, because in the end you want children, and you want to carry on the human race. And that's it. That's really why we don't like homosexuals, isn't it? 'Cause you gotta keep on the human race. Maybe that's in the brain. I don't know. Personally, I fucking love homosexuals. Oh, that's creamy vanilla, ginger root, slight grain sweetness as well, definitely. So it says finish, a touch of smoke underneath, spearmint and cinnamon. See, now you said spearmint, yeah, there is a bit of a mint there. I wouldn't say spearmint. I would say, like, when you like have mint with a mint with son. When you used to go around your nan's and you used to have like she used to make lamb, and you used to get mint on the side because Grandad was like, oh, it's lamb, so you've got to have mint there. What's this? Try it. It's horseradish. Good times. Better times at that fucking house than my own. Where was I? I don't fucking know. It says here, the Woodsman is a blended Scotch whisky from White Mackay. So, but I wasn't able to find out any information on the history of it, which is why I was interested in why they would do this, why they would decide to make a new White Mackay. Because White Mackay already owns Dalmore, Fedcairn, Jura and Tamnavillin. I've not heard of Tamnavillin. Should we go on a little bit of a deep dive? What's Tamnavillin? Tamnavillin single malt Scotch whisky made in Speyside, So what I imagine is that a larger distillery has basically brought up little places in the country, in Scotland. That seems to be what it is. Jura, we know. Fentica, Dalmore. Yeah, I'm sure I've heard Dalmore before. Alness, which is north of Inverness. Dalmore is the one with the stag head on it. I remember. But that was me thinking, it's a fucking Ouija. It's just, I've got bang out the fucking Ouija thing. I think as blended whiskies go, this is fine. But the trouble is, it's not one that I've seen around very often. Well, very often. I've never seen it. The Woodsman Whisky. Lockdown protesters in Portsmouth branded Pratt's as Jeremy Corbyn's brother Piers urges people to hug against the COVID con. Oh, goodness me. Defiant anti-mask and anti-lockdown demonstrators have been branded irresponsible prats. They didn't say prats, let's be honest. Maybe we should go for the history of the White Mackay Empire. Is that what will happen? Is that what will give us the information that we require? Come with me and you'll see a whole world of pure imagination. Right. Enough of the babbling. The dogs are barking. Yeah, let's find the information. White Mackay. Right. We come to the end of that one. I think we need to go for one with the water. Bumpity boom, bum bum bum. I miss music. Be playing music during these things. So I promised you this. So we got about what's that? Like a finger of a dirty bitten fingernail. Don't look at my nails. There we go. About that much. Hang on. Yeah, that's about much. It's not half and half. It's there's a bit. But it really, it depends on the whiskies. You have to kind of get used to it and kind of find out with each particular whiskey. That's why you're going to go to a pub like in a fishing village in fucking Edinburgh. Well, not Edinburgh, but up the north on the east coast. And they'll have the little tipping thing, and you'll get the whiskey. Oh, I'd never heard about this before. And you go, oh, that's very peaty. You take your girlfriend, and she'll go, oh, that's very peaty. Not too keen on that. And what you do is you get the little thing out, and you go pour it in there, and a little. I can really detect elements of cinnamon, and vanilla, and smoke, and she'll be putty in your arms, and yeah. That's that. Oh shit, I'm doing a thing. White Mackay. White Mackay is a company producing alcoholic beverages. No shit. It was founded in 1844 and is based in Glasgow, Scotland. White Mackay is now owned by Philippines-based Emperador Inc., a subsidiary of the Alliance Global Group holding company. White Mackay's self-branded whiskey holds about 3% of the UK whiskey market. Wow. That is interesting. I wouldn't have known that. What I would like to fucking know is about Woodsman. So basically, when I'm talking about Woodsman, it's not Glasgow. It's not two young whippersnappers in Glasgow finding their way to rise above the proletariat and the what's the face? It's fucking Filipinos. In 2009, 30-year-old white Macau whiskey was voted the best blended whiskey in the world by in two competitions. Spell it out. Competitions. Well done, Chris. But it doesn't mention the fucking... we're going down the deep fucking way now, aren't we? What are we doing here? I want to find out. Woodsman Whiskey. You've been lying to me. You're from the Philippines, aren't you? Woodsman. Tap. Woodsman Whiskey. That's the shittest fucking thing I've ever heard. A real whiskey that tastes great straight up or mixed long. That's like that's the two options that you have to have it. Straight up or mixed long. And you're telling me it's a real whiskey because the two things I could possibly do with it are great. Well, that's fucking great as well. Fire your marketing staff. What the fuck was that? Real whiskey that tastes great. This option's the first. I've been very uneventful in finding anything. I'm cold and I'm also hot and I'm tired of COVID. Boop. And I want everyone to get better. But I will be continuing with these. I will be. I shouldn't have drunken this much. But I suppose I should just sum up. Is that something I've forgotten to do in earlier reviews? It's really nice. It's palatable. It's easy to chew. I can fling it over my shoulder and carry it for 20 miles at a push. Is it a hip flask drink? I'm not sure I would recommend it as a hip flask drink because you would be no. If you got a hip flask, you want something a bit fancy. I'm pretty sure if you mix that with like Coke and shit, then you'd be fine. Doesn't matter. You have to remember we're living in the time of the dragon.